Well, cleaners, back again with another podcast, another week, and solar panel cleaning friends. How's it going, guys? It is Chris, your amazing expert. Solar panel cleaning expert. The solar panel cleaning expert behind that. The whole point is that we can all be expert, which is amazing because I hope you're ready to power up for another episode of the Solar Panel Clean Friends podcast. Unfortunately, my co-hosts are not with me tonight. Solar panel cleaning can be profitable, but the road to success isn't exactly what it seems. And so that's why we like to do this podcast and talk about everything related to solar panel cleaning, from residential to commercial, the tools, the equipment, and all that kind of stuff. That's all beautiful. Every Tuesday, we go live at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We interview people usually in the industry. Tonight, we're doing something a little bit deeper. We're actually going to be doing story time with Chris. I thought tonight that we would take this opportunity to talk about the different things that have taken place in my long career of solar panel cleaning. We'll talk about some of the residential, some of the commercial, some of the things that I've learned along the way. And, if there's any kind of questions, we'll go ahead and get that out of the way too. This would be a good night, good day, depending on where you are in the world and you're watching this. Go ahead and ask any kind of questions, because we're free to go ahead and ask a bunch of questions today. Guys, it has been one hell of a week. I'll tell you that. There's been a lot that has been going on as I've been kind of struggling through the motions of solar panel cleaning out here in December in Southern California. I'm gonna take a drink here. All right, let's talk a little bit about this, guys. The first time I did some solar panel cleaning, I always like to talk about that adventure, because that's exactly what that was. That was an adventure that I don't think I was fully prepared for. Back in the day, we did 7,800 carport solar panels for a high school. And I've talked about that a lot, but I don't think I've really discussed about some of the things that took place that I learned from that specific job from right there, because there was a lot that we had learned. I see here the first time that we actually drove up to the school, we rented we didn't even have like a regular pickup truck. We actually rented like almost like a U-Haul truck, if I remember correctly, or we got it from somewhere like U-Haul. And we had a roll-up truck that was just ridiculous. It was big, and we had all this little equipment that took like maybe a corner, 25% of the back of this truck. We rolled up to this school, and we had vests on. We had hard hats that were provided by the contractor. And because it was a school, we were told not to use the restrooms on campus. Told a lot of different things. No one really smoked except for one guy, but we were told not to smoke on campus, that if we wanted to smoke, to go across the street. So we get there, and of course, he immediately there's across the street, because they're doing a lot of construction at this school. They're doing redoing the library and all this kind. Let me just tell you about this high school, if I could. They had an elevator. All right. It was multiple levels. It was outside, but there was an outside level. There was like a three-story type of thing that went down to the first, and it had an elevator. I know, it's crazy. But anyways, my high school never had an elevator. We get there and we're parked across the street and we're looking at the solar panels, and they've got these tall arrays. And if you ever look at the carport arrays, it can be kind of a little bit overwhelming at first to think how these can be cleaned. And of course, it's by a scissor lift or a knuckle boom. It really doesn't matter if you use a manual brush, a rotating brush, or a robot. You're going to have to get up there to get eye level with those solar panels. For us back then, we had some manual brushes, not even rotating bristle brushes, but we had manual brushes, and we had 2 lifts, which I think I've mentioned on here before. When we first started out, we actually had $500 in our budget to go out, which only the equipment that we got only lasted for, I think, that job, which really burnt us out. That was the main lesson that I think that I learned from that first job, was tools and equipment, using the right tools and equipment for the job. There is a lot of talk on the group that I see of people talking about robots, brushes that are made, rotating bristle brushes, and they're all beautiful, beautiful, well-made tools and equipment. You need to have the right tools and equipment for the right job, though. And that being said, we were there originally with what we purchased from Home Depot were 18-foot painter's extension poles with 8-inch janitor brushes that had no, I mean, it was just a straight 90-degree, just a crap. And that's what we had to clean with. And what we did is we took 2 scissor lifts, which was, looking back, ridiculous. And I'm going to talk about the scissor lifts too, and about cleaning the carports or anything outside that requires a kind of aerial lift. But we get there and we're up on these 2 lifts, and we've got 4 guys total. So you have myself and my helper. Let me see if I can turn me up a little. And we're on one lift, and then on the other one is my other 2 partners. Okay. There's 3 of us that own this business at the time. And one of the guys would have a hose and would be, excuse me, not a, would have the hose and would just be spraying off like that. And the other guy would have this manual brush and would just be scrubbing and scrubbing. And it worked on our shoulders like crazy. I think in that first 2 hours, I was already burnt out. I was so happy when we finally did get the SolarTidy brush, because it changed things dramatically. We still had a little bit of some pull on that thing, and being up in a scissor lift, you still get the opportunity to be holding the pole like this, like this, like this. I mean, just so many different ways that can hurt your shoulders and your arms. So that's really awesome. But what sucks is this, I think. If you're doing some sort of like outside cleaning that requires a lift, a scissor lift, or a knuckle boom, I'm going to say the scissor lift. The knuckle boom, if you can get yourself a cherry picker, you're in heaven, just heaven. But if you do go with a scissor lift, make sure it's not an electric one. Some of you guys may not know that they have balancing issues. So as you're up there, if it's not on the right balance, all of a sudden you're going to hear a beep, 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 and you can't go up anymore. You're stuck. You're just, it's crap. It can be a real big issue. So you never want to get electric scissor lifts when doing the carport solar panels, which is what we had at the time. And it killed us. It took 5 days to clean because of that fact. We kept on running to a situation where we were off balance, and the scissor lift, the electric scissor lift, would start beeping and going off because of the sensor, and we'd just be stuck there. So that slows down. So, if I can recommend anything or suggest anything that I've learned from that job, is that Electric scissor lifts are not the lift to be using when doing carport solar panels. You're going to want to get yourself a 4-wheel drive gas, lift. That's what's going to make the difference in there. So I didn't have a lot of training with the lift at the time. I was still learning about things, and you can get easily certified, however, though, for a lift, for aerial lifts, and you could do it online, and it costs about $150. You can look around for different places. At the time, it was $75 for us. $75, went online, took a test, wasn't really that hard. I believe we did it the night before. Yeah, really, really ridiculous. It's not the point. We had the aerial lift certificates and we're all good and whatnot. But for me at the time, I didn't have any kind of training. The lift does up in the top gate, the top part of it, it extends. This particular one that we had, and we're sitting up there, and as we're cleaning, I'm on the end closest to the gate to where you get out of the lift, and the guy who's working with me decides to go ahead and open the lift and extend it. So, because you got this extra platform, that goes out. Excuse me, depending on the lift you have, you can go out like an extra 2-3 feet. You can have more min up on there. So he decided to pull it out to be a show off, and I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. I had my hand on the lift like this on the railing, and he closed it. And as he closed it, he kind of pinched the hell out of my arm and out of the skin, and it hurt so bad. Couple of things I learned from that right there is have a good medical kit, have your safety kit, have your all that kind of stuff put together, because that's very, very important. It cut, and I didn't really have anything except for a shirt and at the time a rag, and I think I ended up wrapping my yellow vest around it. That was kind of stupid in retrospect. In fact, a lot of my beginnings were stupid, really, really stupid. But I look back and I think about all those failures and I think, wow, thank God, because I learned a lot. I learned a lot. Um, After that job, we immediately got ourselves some water fed poles. We invested in some water fed poles. And it wasn't too long after that we got the SolarTech brushes. It was a summer that we were out there just slaying schools left and right. So it wasn't an issue for us at the time. I'm gonna tell you about getting the SolarTech brush. So there's this guy who, let me see if I can find his YouTube stuff real quick. A guy named Jan, out here in California, and that's who I got my SolarTech brush from. Hold on here. Here it is. Pro Solar Clean. Let me see if I can just pop this up to and play it. So this guy, we meet him up in close to San Francisco, if I remember correctly. Drive all the way up from San Diego. It's a big long journey. Me and 2 other guys, and we're trekking up there, and we're getting the SolarTech brushes and these motors, and all together we're throwing in $13,000 for these 2 setups. And the stories behind these 2 brushes, again, they really suck. A lot of my beginnings suck. That's the truth. That's how I learned so much, is by having so many small failures along the way, and having Murphy's Law stick his head up just in everything. We get these SolarTech brushes. Well, before that, actually, I'm gonna skip. I'm getting ahead of myself, because we drive up there in this truck that we've rented. We drive up hours up to actually, was it San Bernardino that we had to go to? Doesn't really matter. We meet him at a parking lot at a hotel, and in the back of his truck is the equipment all boxed up. But we did not know that when we met him. He wanted us to meet meet him and his friend at the hotel that had a bar, and they were drinking, and he's German, and he wanted us to dance and drink, and it was actually kind of a weird situation, but we said, that's okay. We're just here for the brushes. So we walked out to the parking lot and showed us the brushes, and we had already done a demo like a couple of weeks ago that we went to. It was only about an hour away from us, something like that, up in Corona, California. We went to a demo originally for the SolarTech brushes, and it was these ground mounts. And when he originally showed us these poles, I mean, I can't even describe how amazingly happy I was that this was going to change the whole game. I felt for sure that this is just going to be excuse me, Dr. Pepper's making me burp. I thought this was going to be the be all end all answer. As soon as we got some rotating bristle brushes, we were just going to clean everything. That's what's cool, right? Just bigger and better. You get better stuff. You got a rotating bristle brush. You got a robot. You're just out there killing it. There's no problems, right? Everything's just smooth sailing. That's actually a lie. It doesn't matter what you have. There's always going to be some sort of problem. You're always going to learn some sort of lesson. So we get the brushes. Back to meeting Jan at the parking lot of this hotel. We get the brushes, we pick them up, and we decide to drive up by Redwood Mountains and all this kind of stuff. And 2 days later, we end up back home. It's important, okay? Because when we showed up with the brushes, the guy who was our contractor was giving us these jobs. He had shown up just randomly at our office. We had an office here in Escondido where I live. He happened to be pulling in to the parking lot of our office, and he's from up north, which made no sense. But he flew out here, rented a car, and was driving in. And it's kind of just fateful. I think actually all this solar panel cleaning stuff for me has been really, really fateful. But we pull in with the truck. We're tired as hell. We've been driving. It's been 3 days now, all together, driving up there and driving back. I believe something like that. But we're there and we're pulling in, and he's like, "This is it. This is the SolarTech brush." And he looks at it, and the truth of this is, when you have different kind of equipment and whatnot, depending on the equipment you have and the look, it's gonna get you more jobs. And he looked at it and immediately said, "You know what? I can think of more jobs, right? Some more schools that I want you guys to do immediately." So that was a benefit. I'm gonna get back to that. So we're doing the schools, and everything's really, really cool. It's a heavy brush. It's really, really heavy, as I'm finding out immediately, that it's actually hurting my shoulders a little bit more, because depending on which way you're cleaning, you have to flip the brush a different way. And that either pulls or drags back. And there was a couple times where it almost fell off the carport. This is an expensive brush. Leveling up is expensive. So I'm cleaning, and one time it did fall off a carport and went all the way down. And luckily it didn't break. Got really, really lucky. Bad luck while doing this. One of my partner and our employee at the time, we only had one employee that was working with us because there was 4 total of us. They went up to LA to do a job and left the equipment in the back of the damn truck. Left it in the back of the damn truck, went up into the hotel room, went to sleep, and in the morning, it was all gone. So we lost one of the SolarTech brushes, the motor, the pole, the rotating brush, the attachments for it, everything. I mean, there's so much that goes along with a sim pole. Or excuse me, shit, I'm sorry. That goes along with a SolarTech rotating bristle brush. A lot to set it up. So we had lost a brush. We were down a brush at this point in the summer, and this was the 3rd summer. And we had gone through a lot of trials with this thing, just a lot of issues. Like I said, a couple times we almost broke it. One time we took the motor that came with it, which is a Honda GX 290 360. It's the 360 I don't even remember right now off the top of my head. To be truthful, it's been sitting in my van that's been parked out in the parking lot for about a year now. But we had the motor up on the scissor lift with us, and we're cleaning this carport, and we're just going along. Hose is hooked up to it. Um, just pulling hose. Yeah, no big deal. We're cleaning, making progress, not paying attention. All of a sudden, the I don't know whose bright idea it was to put the motor up in the lift with us. That was the dumbest thing. But we go ahead and do this, and as we're going down the line cleaning, and we're right at the end with the last portion of this carport, this motor just goes whoop and flies off of the lift, just storms out of it. It was this close to my ankle, and it would have just ripped me out of there, and I would have gotten so hurt. But it dropped all the way down to the ground. It didn't kill it. It banged it up. That was before that one got stolen. The setup got stolen. So that actual motor was a part of the setup that got stolen. So happy about that. But it's dangerous. It's dangerous up there on those lifts. It's dangerous in the commercial, residential, field. Again, tonight, I'm just telling stories. What's up, guys? If you're just logging on, then I'll let you know the co-hosts are not with us tonight. They got some things going on here. So we're doing story time with me, and I'm just talking about different things that have taken place in my past 10 years of cleaning. Um, you know, the scary things, there's a lot of cool things that are out there, and we talk about some kind of cool stuff, but there is some scary stuff. And there was a time where I almost quit it altogether. Before starting Solar Panel Cleaning Friends or any kind of sponsors, anything like that, I actually found myself in a really scary situation, one of the scariest. And it kind of put an end to the commercial cleaning. If people want to know why I stopped doing the commercial cleaning, so as far as I didn't stop doing it, but the school carports, if we did them for 3 years, what stopped? I'll tell you, I got scared. I actually got really scared, not because anything personally happened to me, but I went through a phase of depression actually, and fear. There's a lot that happens with this job, and it is an amazing job, and there's a lot of emotions and passion that I have for it. But a lot of stuff has happened as well. So it's the ending years, I want to say the third and a half year, almost close to the end of the third year of cleaning these carport panels, and we're killing it with the Solitech. And one of them had just got stolen, which kind of sucked, but we were still rocking it. We were actually going to buy another one. We weren't doing that bad off. We are actually doing really good. What's up, Ryan? What's up, Kim? We're doing story time because my co-hosts aren't here, and we're talking about the worst thing that ever happened to me and why I stopped doing the school carport solar panels, and why I almost quit solar panel cleaning altogether. The guy who gave me the original contracts and got me started in solar panel cleaning, who I looked to him as a mentor in all this. He got me started. He taught me everything. He introduced me to all the different equipment. He introduced me to the Solitech. He introduced me to everything. He went out and did some cleaning for himself, and he had his pole fully extended, water fed pole, not the Solitech, but it was fully extended. And he was on top of the lift, and he didn't want to put it together, to hand it down to the person below him. He actually just decided that he was just going to go ahead and just take the pole and go over the side of the lift and hand it to the person below him. So fully extended, after cleaning carports, he was like this, and he was moving around with the pole, and it hit some power lines, and it actually electrocuted him and fried over 60% of his body. He had spent a month in the hospital, and during that month, everything went out of control. The jobs were all put on hold, and because we were doing prevailing wage, which at the time it was $48 for the It was 48 and 54 is basically 54 is for the foreman, journeyman was the 48. I don't really remember, it was years ago, but it was a lot of damn money. And we were paying that out not only to ourselves, but we had an employee, and then we had just gained another employee because we were expanding and growing and everything was so beautiful. And when you have employees, you have to have work. We had focused solely on commercial and didn't have any kind of residential whatsoever. You might have heard that about my first solar cleaning job, or excuse me, my first residential. I apologize. How I got stuck up on a roof because I kicked out the ladder from me. That's because during the commercial days and doing those carports before everything went fell apart. Excuse me. We got a phone call for a cleaning, and my partner said, "We don't really care about that," and jokingly sent me out to go do it, and was like, "Just you go do it. You know, we're too busy, blah, 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 blah." Because during that time for that month, I was working at stuff in the office and I wasn't even cleaning. So we didn't focus on anything else but the commercial aspect because we had this Solitech brush, again, the equipment. It's amazing. It's amazing. You get all these different equipment. You got to make sure that you're thinking about the full picture here because a lot of things can take place. Make sure that it's like fishing, in my opinion. Okay, um, you can't just get out there and start fishing, deep sea fishing. You got to go do some freshwater fishing first and learn how to tie a damn knot, and at least learn some of the poles or what the difference is between a freshwater and saltwater fishing pole. Well, it's the same thing. You can't just get out there and start doing commercial. You can't just get out there and just do residential either. Neither one of them. You can't get out there and just do solar panel cleaning. You have to have some training. And there's other things that go along with this. As much as I poke fun at Steve Williams, a lot of the times I shouldn't even say a lot of times, every single damn time that someone posts in the group talking about how they're starting a business, I say like it bothers me. It doesn't bother me. Uh, he does comment about how safety is important, and he does point out the negatives, and that's important because you can get electrocuted, you can get shocked, a lot of things could happen, and it can ruin your whole career. It could close down your whole business, which is what took place. So as I'm cleaning with these guys, and we're not really doing residential, I did my first residential back in the day, and then we had a few other ones in there in between the time, but we're getting to the end of this summer, and the contractor electrocutes himself on top of this electric lift. I'm sorry, I don't even know if it was electric. That doesn't even matter about the story, but he's on this lift, and he's got this pole fully extended, and he goes to hand it over to the person down on the ground, his helper, and hits a power line. 60% of his body is burned, and he's electrocuted. He's out for a full month. He's in the hospital, and we don't even know what to do. We were getting no word about the cleanings. Every cleaning is on hold, and because of prevailing wage and having now 2 new employees, we could not pay for anything, and we were screwed. So we kind of just took a dive. Like, it really, 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 really hurt. At the same time, we did get a few residential cleanings, and I was stepping out to doing the residential cleanings. And I did one residential cleaning for this guy who contacted me back afterwards and was like, "Hey, this is great. I am a guy that gets leads. I do SEO, websites, blah, 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 blah. I want to start a business with you, just residential, and I'm going to start this business and just basically feed the appointments all to you." And that's how this business right here that I own got started. And in the end, I became the first franchise company for the business, and then I ended up owning all of the company. Um, and I love it. I love residential. I love what I do. I love my customers. I love commercial. I look back on those days when I was cleaning carport, solar panels, and on the lifts, and I wouldn't take none of it back because I learned so much. The only type of installation I think that I haven't cleaned has been on water. One of the craziest installations that I cleaned was for, I'm not sure who this group of investors were, but there was an installation company, but one of the investors was Elon Musk, and they had these mirror solar panels, which I had never seen anything like this before. They were on a rotating type of pole, but that's not too crazy because they have those out there. But this was a little bit different. It was an octagon mirror, and behind it, what they have is a bunch of shot glasses. It's kind of crazy. But these solar panels point to this big tower, and the sun just beams down on these mirrors and points right back up on this tower, and it shoots up to this satellite in the sky. I mean, it's just kind of crazy, really, really crazy. But that's not even the point. But we're there cleaning them, and it's me and Mike, and okay, so okay, solar panels will break, they'll crack, a lot of things will happen. Even I've been asked, can I clean solar panels in like the heat? Will it crack a solar panel? And it can. And I've talked about how I was on a roof one time. I was doing a residential, and I still to this day think that I got that a BB gun was shot at me. But I hit the solar panels with a little bit of water. It was about 95, 96 degrees. And one of the solar panels went boom and just busted all over. So here's the thing. I've always been careful since then, and I a lot of the times like to say bleed the line, bleed the hose whenever you hook it up. After you hook up the hose to the water source, you want to bleed the line, let the water go ahead and rush through it so that you can get a regular running temperature, because that first amount of water can be really, really bad. Never, ever, 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 ever hook up to a hose that's been sitting there, because it could be water that's been sitting in that hose for months. And depending on the temperature outside, if it's really hot, it can be some really, really hot water. These are great, easy ways to bust solar panels. That being said, I'm being super, super careful about these solar panels. In fact, ultra careful, because I've already been warned that they can fall off completely, just poof, and that's that. So we're cleaning them, and I'm scared as hell. And by the way we cleaned them is we didn't even use a pole. We started out with a pole, and I think we had 8-inch Tucker brushes, just like the hybrid brushes, because we weren't quite sure. It was a mirror. It's not the usual type of solar panel. So, and they really hadn't had anybody ever clean them ever before. So it was kind of new to everybody. So, let me take a drink here. I'm dying. Everything's great. We're watching everything. We're watching ourselves. I'm going through these aisles, cleaning these mirror solar panels, when all of a sudden behind me, one of them, and it's like if you were to take like a glass table, right, a table in your kitchen, and like put it on this but it's a mirror, and put it on like a rotating pole, and put shot glasses behind it, and then put another piece of glass behind it. That's basically what these solar panels are. They're super, super heavy and scary as hell. I don't know about you, but I don't like walking around glass and stuff like that. If it does easily break, there's a good possibility that we're going to get cut. That's what I'm told right off the bat. Great. So I'm cleaning it. Me and Mike, we've now taken the poles off, and the brushes off the poles, and we've got the tubing connected to straight to the hose, and to the filter, water filter, and we'll be straight on that. And we're just hand cleaning them like that. I go to pull on the hose. I wasn't looking, and it was tangled up somehow. And it just kind of pulled like that and yanked. And I'm not even sure to this day what happened, but one of those damn things just fell right off. And I swear I saw my soul. I felt my soul just go out of me. It just left me. It left me alone, because I was pretty sure I was in trouble, and I was gonna owe a lot of money. I got lucky though. It was all good. They were able to take care of it. They didn't have too much of an issue of it, and there was quite a few different damages. to that particular mirrored solar panel already that had been documented in the past like couple weeks. So I got lucky. But to this day, I'm pretty sure that it was me that was pulling on my hose and I made that solar panel fall off of there. An expensive solar panel. Moral of the story is for that one is, pay attention with what you guys are doing with cleaning solar panels, whether you're cleaning the residential or the commercial. It doesn't matter. You need to take your time and slow down. It's not always about who can clean the fastest and who can do the most. That's not what determines who is the best in this game or in this industry. Not by far. That is just a sure way to go ahead and get yourself to get hurt, or to lose a job or break equipment or break solar panels or anything like that. One time I had this guy working with me, and after I had left my first company and after we had stopped doing the schools, because like I said, after the contractor got electrocuted and we went through this period, this frozen time, as I want to call it. We're just stuck with we had no answer, couldn't clean and do anything. I had depression kind of set in. I had a lot of time where I was sitting by myself and I was really, really scared of the outcome in the future of my company that I'd worked so hard with my friends to grow. And I could see that it was coming down to the end. It was the final leg of the tour. That was for sure for this company. But I'd switched over and started doing the residential. And as you guys know me from the company that I have now, like I said, I started working with this guy who I originally cleaned his solar panels. He wanted to start a company because he was good with getting leads and website and marketing and all that kind of stuff. All kind of went together for him. And I started doing these residential appointments. And first, when I got into this with him, I transferred over as the director of commercial sales. That's where I came over as, and we did some commercial. And in the first part of SolarTidy, which is now SolarTidy San Diego, we actually found ourselves where we did 43. It's 43. Sometimes I say 53, but I know that's always wrong. It was 43 schools, carports at schools for 43 schools in the Los Angeles area in 2 weeks' time. We had 14 days to do this, and it was hellacious. It burnt me out after already being depressed about stuff. I couldn't hack it anymore. I really couldn't. So I focused over onto the residential. And when I started doing that, I found out that the guys that were working the residential at the time, because I was the director of commercial sales, they were screwing around. They weren't doing a good job. It's an important story. So, hey, take care, Ryan. Merry Christmas to you. A lot of people know me for a lot of different things, and a lot of people know me for paint over spray. One day we get a phone call from a customer who wants their solar panels cleaned and they don't know what's wrong with them. They're not producing it as much as they used to. So we go out to do the cleaning, and I go out there with these two guys because they have been screwing around, and I'm trying actually to find out. I didn't know how much they were screwing around, but I'm trying to find out why they're taking so long cleaning and why there's the complaints that we were getting at the time were just kind of really ridiculous. And I was more working in the office type of this and kind of leading it from the office. But I go out there and it turns out that this person had paint overspray. And while up on this roof, I started to think about using a plastic scraper. This would be a great idea. I'm thinking maybe a little bit of soap. It's changed everything for me dramatically with this one cleaning. Even though I wasn't up there doing the cleaning, I was already in a mode where I was starting to modify things and I was starting to think a little bit beyond, outside of the box of how to go ahead and improve on the cleaning methods at the time. So I'm doing this. I got these guys and I got them with plastic scrapers, And this was the first paint overspray that we did. This many years ago. I want to say 7 years ago, and maybe 8. No, I'm sorry. It was more like it was closer to like 6 years ago, to be truthful, 6 to 7 years ago. But immediately I'm like, this is amazing, because I know I had gotten phone calls from people before about paint overspray. We just kind of lodged it in the back of my mind or filed it away and knew we couldn't do anything about it. And I knew that looking online, from my search research online, that there was nothing. And at that time, there was no solar panel cleaning friends. There really wasn't any type of videos on YouTube. I wasn't making any videos, so there was nothing to really find any information about solar panel cleaning whatsoever. It was very dull back then at the time, 'cause nobody knew anything. It was still at the time where you would say, I clean solar panels, which you still get this every now and then. But for sure, if you told somebody you cleaned solar panels back then, they'd be like, what? That's a thing? Because it wasn't. It was just wasn't. So let's see here. Where was I? Oh yeah. So we're doing this paint overspray, and we're using this plastic scraper, and it changed everything. And I think because of that one cleaning right there, and that one opportunity to look a little bit more at the solar panels, and that is the first time I started to think a little bit beyond, um, not just the science behind the cleaning methods, but the science behind the solar panels and how they go together, and how important it is to have the knowledge of those combined together, intertwining. And since then, I started modifying with things. Immediately, I started adding that scraper onto different parts of the brushes, and it changed everything for me. Everything. I still had no clue. None. I still had no clue about the different types of water-fed poles and brushes that were out there. The brushes that we had, or the poles, I should say, that we ordered when I had first gotten over into SolarTidy, and we did those 43 schools in two weeks. I had a partner, or a guy who was kind of doing, well, he was the guy who was doing the residential, who I fired, and he was my partner from my first company, to be truthful. And I brought him over, and I'm like, hey, because he didn't have a job, he didn't gonna have anything else, and I was like, hey, come on over and work with me over here at SolarTidy. We're gonna move forward with things, and we're gonna still be cleaning solar panels and get right back to what we're doing. And I fired him. Turns out he was drinking on the job. They were drinking beer on the job. So, I mean, I had to let him go, and I had to replace him. But we started modifying things together, me and him. And from that one job where we were doing that one paint overspray from that, 7 years ago, 6 years ago, um, it was that one moment of looking at it and thinking just a little bit beyond, what is out there. It was easier for me back then because I did not know of a Tucker, of a Simpole, of WCR, of uh, sh- High Cleaner, Solo Cleaner. None of that. There really wasn't any of that. There was a Solitech. We had one that was stolen, and then I had another one, and I also had just gotten off the fact. I'm still dealing with the fact that I had this depression and fear that had grown in me, because my contractor, who had then become my mentor and my friend, had his water-fed pole fully extended, was handing it to somebody over the aerial lift, and electrocuted himself 60% of his body, and was in a hospital for a month. Changed everything for me. From that point forward, I didn't really care. I almost stopped, but I know I didn't really care to do commercial. And it was a good minute before I started doing commercial again too. Um, but I fell in love with the residential, and I found that we were really killing it with the residential. And we were getting out there, and with this new modified creation, this scraper, we were cleaning faster than ever. So now we're out there and we're doing appointments 50% faster than we were doing it. Yeah, yeah. It took us half the time. Took us half the time to clean the solar panels than we were doing previously, which helped us out big time because then our profit margin went up. We were doing more appointments during the day. So it's not so much about who's the fastest or who's the best or how many, it's the effectiveness. So getting back to what I said at the beginning of this podcast, there's a lot of different tools out there. I'm coming full circle with this. There's a lot of different products that are out there that people talk about in the group. And I don't want anybody to be swayed about which is the best and which isn't the best. You got to try for yourself, and you got to make sure that it is going to be something that works for what you do. What works for one cleaner in one part of the world does not work for another cleaner in another part of the world. In fact, it doesn't work at all. So don't be thrown off when you see somebody who's cleaning something one way compared to a person who's cleaning another way, or even yourself, because you're in a whole different part of the world where it's different. In California, I have a lot of residential, and super, super easy to just be killing it and slaying it in residential. Kim is in an area where it's industrial. There's a lot of farm types, a lot of rooftop solar panels and things of that nature that are perfect for his robot. The commercial that we've got some commercial out here that are, there's one. Qualcomm has they used to own Qualcomm Stadium, which it was no longer Qualcomm Stadium. They sold it, but that's where the football in San Diego was, and San Diego Chargers played, which is now gone. But they have a building here in San Diego, and they have an amazing amount of solar panels on the top of them. In fact, I believe, I'm not sure about this 100%, but I'm about 99.99% sure that it is the most solar panels on any building in San Diego. That would be a beautiful thing to use that robot. I think that's the point I was just trying to make. I'm not really sure. Kind of got lost in talking. Big surprise. But let's see here. Just make it how hard you have to work. Whew. That's the thing. These jobs are going to go up and down, and one day you're going to have a big job that's just going to slay, and it's going to making you feel like the man. And then you'll have times where just you're on your own. It's your own business. It's a lot of freedom, but your own business. You're going to succeed and you're going to fail. And in this journey, it's going to be some of the best things in the world. What I mean is all the brushes work. It's just make it easier than others. You know what? Some jobs are just like that, man. And some equipment, they're just like that. And some days, it's just like that. So in this podcast, we don't have a lot of talking about brushes or specific products. My cohorts aren't here to shoot the breeze with me. So instead, today, if you missed any of it, we had people popping in and out. You're welcome to go back and hear any of the different stories that I told today. Solar panel cleaning is my passion. It is what I love. Apologize. I have this hairy thing going on here, and every now and then I got like a hair that kind of gets tweaked out of that placement and starts tickling underneath my nose. That's weird as crap, but I'm never shaving. So I love solar panel cleaning. It is my passion. It is what I do. I'll never take it back. I'll never change. I'll probably never retire from it. I'm always going to be doing something, and I have other hustles along the way, and I'm sure other businesses that I want to start, but I'm always going to go back to solar panel cleaning. And I don't care if it's commercial or residential. I really don't. It's going to make me happy. And I hope the same thing, excuse me, for all you guys out there. I hope that you achieve success in whatever you're going after, whatever your goals are. If it's to be the number one residential solar panel cleaner in your area, in your state, or wherever, and I hope you get it. If it's to being the fastest solar panel cleaner, I hope you get it. And same for if you're looking to get that robot or the rotating bristle brush, or and make that happen. Really, it can happen. There is nothing that is beyond the scope here from what we're doing. Solar panel cleaning gives you guys the opportunity to do whatever you want. And you can just go the distance with us. There's nothing even stopping us whatsoever. So, all right, guys, it was really, really fun with you. It's been 15 minutes that I got to hang out here and just tell a bunch of stories. If you have any kind of questions, please go ahead and email me at solarpanelcleaningfriends@gmail.com. If you want to hear any of the stories I told tonight, go back. It's been a great one. When I say it's been a great one, I mean it's been a great 10 years. And I'm approaching on being 44. I'll be 44 in January next month. And we've got this amazing group, Solar Panel Clean Friends. We've got this podcast. This is the second podcast that I've had. There are this YouTube channel that I do. I don't know. It seems like 100 different companies that have started, that have contacted me and started their businesses because they've joined my group, because they've read one of my articles, because they've watched one of my videos. This has been a blessing. Man, I am more thankful than you guys even know. All right, I'm going to get off this before I cry or something embarrassing. You guys have a very good day. Thank you so much. We will see you next week, and I promise you everybody else will be here, and we'll get right back to teaching something. If you have a chance, go over to the YouTube channel and subscribe and join the group and all that kind of stuff. And I love you guys.